Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm excited to bring you today's meal prep video, not just because I have an amazing lunch to share with you, but also because I prepped a lot. I used to do pretty large meal preps each week, but I started getting kind of lazy about it and only prepped the bare minimum, which I realized this was not working for me anymore. I wasn't following my meal plan, I was wasting food, things were just not going good. So I had to get back to my prepping. So first up, I'm going to do some basic prep. I had quite a few blocks of cheese that were in the fridge that needed to be grated up. That's another thing, I just cut up pieces of cheese. I had like half blocks, a ton of half blocks in there. I had some Colby Jack, some Monterey Jack, and some Pepper Jack. So what's great about having already grated cheese in the fridge is how much this helps when you are preparing meals. I can't tell you how many times I decided not to make a meal I had planned just because I had to maybe grate some cheese for it. I just wasn't having it. So by the time I get home from work each day, I'm exhausted. I just wanted something simple to throw together. So then my ambitious meal plans were just going out the window. So a tip for you all, grate all your cheese at the beginning of the week. So another thing that saves time is to prep your veggies. For breakfast this week, I plan on having omelets. I like to have peppers and onions in my omelets, but since I am always rushing around in the morning to get ready for work, I'm always running late, never fails. I don't always have time to chop my veggies for my omelets. I also had a zucchini in there that I had bought that I thought would be really good for omelets or also sauteed as a side dish, so I chopped those up. Had some green onions, some red onion, and a cucumber, all of which I love to have in my side salads. Again, I haven't been eating very many salads because these things have not been prepped. So having these prepped makes it so much easier at dinner time. And I needed some jalapenos for the taco casserole that I will be prepping next. But before I can prep my lunch, I also needed to make some taco seasonings. I love to make my own taco seasonings. It's super easy. It's a better option than trying to find taco seasonings out there that don't have sugar and starch in them. I know they have them, but you always run out, and it's just easy to just make your own. So to make the kind that I like, I combine 4 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of cumin, 2 tablespoons of salt, a tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 2 teaspoons of oregano, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and then some red pepper flakes. Normally I add cayenne, but I could not find it. Of course, when I was putting all my spices away, I found it. It was with my flaky spices. I separate my spices in my spice cabinet. I have my flaky spices and I have my powdered spices. Well, the cayenne was with the flaky spices. So I store these in a mason jar, so then that way when I need it, it's ready to go. I just have it right on my counter. And we do a lot of taco stuff, so I do use this quite often. I will be having this taco casserole for lunches this week. To start, I'm going to saute up some riced cauliflower that I went ahead and thawed out, and I have a tablespoon of olive oil in the skillet. I'm just going to continue cooking this until it's nice and browned. It probably took about, 3 or 4 minutes, not very long. And then I'm going to transfer that to a greased 11x7 casserole dish. And I'm using ground turkey in my casserole since that is what I had on hand. I shopped my freezer this week and I had 2 pounds of ground turkey. The original recipe does call for ground beef though. I'm adding in 1 diced red bell pepper and some diced onion and a can of diced green chilies. The green chilies was not in the original recipe, but I love diced green chilies, so I wanted to add them in there. I am going to cook this until the meat has all cooked through. So this took, I feel like ground turkey takes a little bit longer to cook sometimes than ground beef. I think it took probably about, 6 or 7 minutes or so. And then I am adding in 3 tablespoons of taco seasoning. The original recipe called for 4 tablespoons, but after I put in 3 tablespoons, it looked like enough and I tasted it, and so I didn't add in that extra tablespoon. And then I'm adding in a tablespoon of tomato paste and 1/3 cup of water. Again, the recipe called for 1/2 cup of water, but as I was putting in the water, I definitely did not need a full 1/2 cup. It seemed to be plenty. So I brought the meat mixture to a boil, and then I turned it down to simmer until the liquid was completely absorbed. It probably took about 10 minutes or so, and I just kind of kept stirring it to make sure it wouldn't stick. And now it's time to transfer the meat mixture to the casserole dish, and I'm simply layering it on top of the rice cauliflower. I'm not mixing it together or anything. spreading it out even because I'm really like, I like to have my casseroles like completely spread even. I know I'm really weird about that. And then I am going to add on 3 cups of shredded cheese. You can use any kind of cheese you want. I am using Colby Jack since I had so much on hand. Now this is going to go into a 350-degree oven uncovered for 10 to 15 minutes. And this is what mine looked like after 12 minutes. It was perfect. Now, if you're eating this casserole right away, like if you're having it for lunch or for dinner, you would want to add on your toppings, which typically are like a shredded lettuce, some salsa, olives, tomatoes, jalapenos, whatever you want to put on there, avocado. But since I'm having this as a lunch for my entire week, I'm going to prep the toppings separately. So first I transferred 4 of the portions. It made 6 portions, by the way. I put 4 of the 6 portions into meal prep containers and added some sliced jalapenos on top. And I will have these meal prep containers linked down below. I got them off of Amazon. And I'm using these little condiment cups that I also got on Amazon in these containers because I want to be able to heat up the casserole without also heating up the salsa and the sour cream. And then next I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of salsa to each of the little cups and 1 tablespoon of sour cream. I also put some shredded lettuce in a small snack bag, and there we go, you guys. I also will be adding avocado to this, but again, I don't want to slice that up until the day that I'm taking this to work. I plan on having this and also any leftovers for my lunches for the rest of the week. So I had a couple of servings of this taco casserole left, so I had a serving for lunch today, and this is how I topped it, and you guys, it is fantastic. This is actually the first time making this particular taco recipe, and I am so pleased with it. It is really good. And for those of you who are on the fence about rice cauliflower, you don't know it's there. Really, you don't. So for one of my dinners this week, I am having cheesy chicken meatballs and a cheese sauce. Again, if I had to make the meatballs when I got home from work, I probably wouldn't do it unless I was just feeling very motivated that day. So I am prepping them today, so I have these ready for dinner. I only have to make the cheese sauce. To make the meatballs, we are going to need 1 pound of ground chicken, 1 cup of crushed pork rinds. And here's another tip. Whenever I need pork rinds for a recipe that I need it as, crushed, so if it's using for breading or meatloaf or something like that, instead of just crushing what I need for the recipe, I crush the entire bag of pork rinds and then I store them in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. They don't freeze, but it keeps them nice and fresh. So I already had pork rinds ready to go for this recipe. Also, I need 1 egg, 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan. This is the kind in the green can. Salt, pepper, and I also threw in some red pepper flakes because I put red pepper flakes on absolutely everything because I love them. I am cooking these in my air fryer, so I have that preheating while I form the meatballs. If you wet your hands, it makes working with the ground chicken much easier. It seems like ground chicken is just a little bit more difficult to work with when you're making meatballs than ground beef. So just get your hands a little bit wet and it helps so much better. These are going to go into my air fryer at 400 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes. Mine ended up taking 15 minutes. And here are the finished meatballs. Perfection. So stay tuned for my what I ate videos this week and you'll see how the entire chicken meatball dinner comes together. Okay, we're almost done. But first, I just want to thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to watch today's video. And I hope if you're not already subscribed that you will take some time to do so. Also, if you made it this far in the video, let's put a party hat emoji in the comment section to celebrate the first official meal prep of the new year. I had some pastrami and cheese left over in the fridge, so I decided to make a few roll-ups that would be good for a grab-and-go snack. Again, I'm using up everything in my fridge this week. I also made some keto bread, which I did not show you in this video because I made an entire video about keto breads, all different kinds, and you guys will see that tomorrow. So Tuesday, that video will be up and ready to go. And lastly, we don't do a proper keto meal prep without cooking some bacon. I always cook mine in the air fryer at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. This was a thicker cut bacon, so I ended up cooking it for 12 minutes. Meal prep is done, you guys. This took me 90 minutes start to finish, not counting cleanup. I had a lot of cleanup to do because I didn't really clean up as I went along. But 90 minutes is definitely worth the time I will save this week. So let me know, you guys, did you meal prep this week? Do you plan on meal prepping? What are you meal prepping? And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.